And Alex, back over to you.
All right, coming up on 8:15, we got one for you here. All you have to do is talk to some of your friends, and you would realize, especially in the United States, there's a lot of marriages in trouble.
Yeah, and oftentimes it's a result of an affair. So consider the story of this local couple.
It's obvious that Marcus and Dina Cole Holden love each other. You see it when they're holding hands and talking to one another. They've been together for 17 years, and the last thing you would guess is that they once had problems in their marriage.
Maybe around the 13th year of marriage, things started hitting a rocky road, and when the outcome don't come out the way you want it, you kind of take the high road and head for the hills.
Or leave the house, as Marcus did.
For me, I would just say that things wasn't being equal. It was, more so the man's supposed to be the head of the household, but in today's society, everything is a team, and it wasn't working that way.
Which he felt was reason enough for the father of two to step out of his marriage. His wife was devastated.
I tried to figure out what went wrong, and I couldn't figure it out by myself, and I didn't know what happened. He said he hit the high road, but that wasn't the high road.
They lived apart a year and a half. Not sure what to do, Dina Cole turned to her faith.
Just placing my trust in God and going to God with this, that really, really seemed to help me through.
For Marcus, it was a radio show that gave him the courage to fight for his marriage.
He listened to the radio one day going to work, and he said, "You know what, D? I think Marcos on Marriage Beyond the Vows. I really want to see him. I think I can get some help by speaking to him."
The Holdens eventually met with counselor and pastor Marcus Mercado. They credit him for helping them save their marriage.
And he counseled us, and he really did a lot of work for Marcus. He did a lot of work for me. We were able to open our eyes and see where we went wrong. We couldn't do it by ourselves.
Pastor Mercado, thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this segment
Sure.
on the good side of how things can change for the better.
My first question when I saw this is, where do you even begin when you're trying to rebuild your marriage, especially after he left the home for a year and a half?
When they came to me, he was still living with his mistress. And, they were just like, what do we do? And so we started in what happened with, they loved each other. No one goes to the altar expecting to hurt each other.
No.
Or to have an affair. And so when they came, they were just really broken. She was punishing him for his mistakes. He was punishing her. And they just wanted help, and they felt like there was nothing else they could do.
Well, you were counseling them, and he was still living with
He was still living
the
with
other
her.
woman.
He wanted out. He just didn't know if it was worth trying again, because they had tried multiple times, and it failed and failed again and again. And he was like, if I come back home, is he going to fail again?
So was the first step then admitting, hey, we both want to be in this marriage?
They definitely wanted it. I mean,
Okay.
for them to come, I think that's always a good step. I tell people, even the fact that you're both sitting here in front of me, you're fighting for your marriage.
Yeah.
You might be hanging by a thread, but you're fighting for your marriage. And so what I tell people is that's the start. Now let's get you fixed. What went wrong? And usually something where there's a lack of trust, or someone got hurt, and then they hurt back, and then it's like a crazy cycle that doesn't end.
I understand that the wife there actually confronted the other woman.
She did.
Face to face?
She did, and actually I don't recommend that. Now here's the thing, if you need to talk and for some reason you're able to get on the phone with the person, proceed with caution, but that's better. To confront them in person can be very dangerous, and you never know how violent that can become.
You brought up an important element that I think, trust. I just can't imagine, how do you build that trust again after something like this?
You hit it right in the head, Alex. You said, how do you build? We have to build it. Trust is something you either build or you destroy. And so I think little by little, I'll give you an example. If, this came up with them, the counseling, if he had a password on his phone, he had to give that up and say, listen, you can have my phone anytime. If she wanted to question where he was.
But wouldn't that defeat trust? Because, some people would say, hey, part of trust is saying, when I tell you I'm here, when I tell you that I'm not doing these things, you have to believe it.
No.
And trust me when I say that.
Not if you violated that trust and you're trying to rebuild. So now the day might come where I don't need to question you anymore. But if you're hiding something, hey, what are you doing? Oh, nothing. And,
Well, if you've been cheating, you need to give up that password. And all sorts of other things to build that trust. But here, real quick, what do you think was the key for these two? What was the linchpin that got them back together?
I think forgiveness and reconciliation.
God, forgiveness is tough.
Forgiveness and reconciliation. And something I've learned, forgiveness is not something you do once.
Right.
You know, to this day, D. Nicole still has to wake up in the morning and say, I have forgiven him.
That's the wife in
I
that
have
situation.
forgiven.
Okay,
They've
give us
renewed their
advice.
vows now and everything.
They renewed
Well,
their
I'll
vows.
give you advice. So, yeah, they renewed their vows. We had an amazing time over the Valentine's Day weekend.
Tell me about the event.
We have an event coming up March the 12th at the Pennsylvania Convention Center. It's the Beat Expo. 103.9, our other sister stations will be there. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm going to do a workshop there on marriage.
Also, good speaker, Shirley Rapp. I believe her husband may be coming too.
Senator Hughes will be
our
there.
very own Alex Holly. You're going to give it a little...
Well, not on this panel.
Not on this panel?
Yes, there's going to be a different one
But
that
you
I'm
can
on.
attend. You know, a lot of
You should
singles
attend.
come and say, hey, how do I learn and what pitfalls?
What's your topic?
Oh, I've been learning a lot about marriage recently, seems like, when people hear. It's going to be about beauty, so it's going to
Okay.
be with Alicia Quarles, who's the E!
Oh.
correspondent, Little Mo, who's a singer, so it's going to be great.
Great expo this weekend.
Absolutely. Go to praisephilly.com, get your tickets, only $15 in advance.
Say a little bit about praise.
Thank you.
Thank you. What a
Appreciate it.
story.
Thank you.
Okay, mom fighting back after she's told to hide her pregnancy.